Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tiffany Kinney speaking with the Home-Based Professional Learning Team. Also in the room, we have Justin Connor. Say hello, Justin.
Hello, Justin.
Justin will be providing you with the coordinator's update because as you know, or as you should know, there is a maintenance weekend on the horizon this weekend. We have the bit.ly on the screen. So if you want to follow along, you can follow along by looking at the webinar, follow along that way, or you can have the bit.ly for later. I have put the bit.ly into chat. So if you check out chat, you will see the bit.ly to today's presentations, to the slides. Also, we're going to do a quick audio check before we get started. If you can hear me clearly, if you will just raise your hand, click on your hand icon. Click on your hand icon. Thank you so much. I see your hands going up. So I'm going to put your hands down. If you can see my screen that says Coordinator's Update, if you can see the screen, please raise your hand. You see the screen, you should be viewing Coordinator's Update, today's date, and then the bit.ly. All right. I'm going to put your hands down. This session is being recorded, so we'll get that posted within the next day or so. Anything else? Yes, questions. If you have questions, please send them in where it says questions. Type those in for us. We do have a lot of people on the call today, so we will try to get to all those questions as soon as we can, and Justin will stop periodically and at the end to see if we have any questions coming in, but just be patient because we do have a lot of people on today, and we're happy about that. All right, so you've got the bit.ly, you hear us. Are we ready? Ready, Justin?
I'm ready.
All right.
All right, good afternoon. On the first slide there, these are the items we're going to cover today. So each month, the Thursday before maintenance, we're going to hold a webinar to go over the maintenance details with you, as well as any other items up and coming or reports coming up, training opportunities, etc. So today we're going to touch on the maintenance details for this weekend. We're going to go over the special programs code that many of you have already received communication on for displaced students. We've got some course code items to share with you. A grade scale correction that Mark Southard brought to our attention today. Thank you, Mark. That's in the slideshow as well. Legislative class size update. It's pretty much the same, but we're going to go over it again for anyone who may be new. And then we're just going to close up by going over the upcoming meetups, webinars, and reports. Okay, so these are the items that we approved to be released this weekend. We do understand that grades are due. It's the end of the quarter for a lot of you. And we've been receiving emails from teachers and administrators saying that your teachers need in this weekend. So we've notified PowerSchool. They're going to start at 5 p.m. Friday, and they're going to rush to get this done, hopefully by mid-morning, but no later than mid-afternoon Saturday. And this go around, they're not going to wait on us to let them know when to take the curtain down. We've told them just go ahead and drop the curtain as soon as they're finished so that you and your teachers can go ahead and get in and work on grades. So part of the release, we've got some minor CRDC updates, and these will be sent out also. It's just some label changes. The legislative class size update, so all of the items that we sent you when the class size report was delivered into production about a month ago, such as the slowness from the LEA level, report showing blank, no results. Those items are corrected, we hope. So those will be pushed out this weekend. PMR 32 fatal is being removed from hospital schools. GDV change in the submission start and end date, we've moved that from August back to July, so you'll see that after this weekend. And then Tiff may know more about the SchoolNet release, but we got this around noon today. The EOC, EOG, DIBELS, and TRC scores from 2017-18 are going to be loaded. Yes, those scores are going to be loaded. DIBELS is misspelled, sorry about that. Should be D-I-B-E-L-S. Anyways, that's the elementary teacher coming out in me. But yes, those will be loaded over the weekend, but we also have this maintenance includes
an upgrade to SchoolNet 20.0.5, which includes a resolution for glitches, for scoring glitches that occurred over the last month. This should only take about an hour, and so we're thinking 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. it should be done. We didn't want anything going too far into this weekend, so that should be a very quick update for SchoolNet.
Okay, so that's it. That's it for this weekend. We're going to go over class size later, so I don't want to answer questions on that just yet if we have any. Special programs for displaced students. So LaShawn Creech and I finished up yesterday adding these programs, the special programs, to all LEAs. We just got the list of charters yesterday, so we've not put them in the charter schools yet, but that's going to happen by the end of this week. So by the end of the week, you're going to see those two special programs, Hurricane Florence displacement and Hurricane Michael displacement, added to your list of special programs. We're going to use this. It's going to be helpful for you and us to track students who have been displaced due to the hurricane. So like I said, it's been set up for all the LEAs. Once that's complete, then the schools can start assigning those displaced students. And we're going to go over that now. So the first question you're probably going to ask is, what is a displaced student? What are we calling displaced? It is not, notice at the bottom, I put this note in there. So it's not a way to track students who lost their homes or had to move in with somebody else. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to track new enrollments only. So students moving into your school from another school will be considered displaced. So I put some examples there. So if you've got a student moving from one high school to another high school within your same district, they're displaced. If you've got a student moving from another district's high school to your high school, they're displaced. And then if they move from out of state to your school, they're going to be displaced. I don't want to muddy the waters too much, but if for some reason you have a building that was shut down temporarily and the students were dispersed to other schools, if they actually have enrollment records at the new school, then they're going to be displaced. But if they're still operating as a student under the original school, then they are not going to be displaced. So again, we're only looking at students that you are actually enrolling in your instance. And once I walk you through entering these or assigning these programs, then we'll take questions. So like I said, at the LEA level, we're going to do this for you because it's important that everything's typed correctly, the spelling's correct, the spacing's correct, because that's the only way we're going to be able to pull the data here. So once we assign that at the LEA level, then your school data managers will be able to go in, select the student, and navigate to the special programs section and enter the new special program. So on the next slide there, I've got some screenshots. Okay, so you're only going to, the only fields you're going to change are what I've taken a screenshot of. So anything below there in the extended data, we're not going to mess with. So the comment, I'm going to go to the next slide now. The comment, you're only to enter for these programs in-state or out-of-state. So that's the only thing we won't put in the comment section. Your entry day is simply going to be the date that they enrolled in your school. And the exit day is either going to be the last day of school or the date that they transfer out of your school. So if they leave you in January to return back to the school they came from, then you're going to put their exit date. If they stay with you through the end of the year, regardless if they move over with you next year, you're going to use the last day of your school year as their exit date. The exit reason will be student withdrawn if they withdraw. However, if they stay with you next year, then they're no longer going to be tracked. So you're going to change that to student no longer eligible. So they'll start next year as just a regular student with you, and we'll drop the special program. Grade level will be the grade that they're in when they enter your school. And then program, of course, you'll have all of your special programs in that drop down, but for the displacement students, you're only going to use DPI approved displacement codes. So we don't want you to go in and start creating codes for, you know, every storm or blizzard or whatever, because we're going to track that from here. So we're getting asked by folks to track students who are moving because of certain things. So we're not going to use this to track every single thing, only what we're being asked to report on. You can go back and see if we have questions on that.
All right. So we're going to address questions regarding displaced students right now. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me read. What if we have students who moved here because of a hurricane other than Florence or Michael? We've had some come to us last year from Florida and Texas.
So like I said, we're only going to track the ones that we're being asked to report on. So as of right now, Michael and Florence are the only ones that we're being asked for data on. Now, I have had some districts tell me that they're creating their own, and you can certainly do that. You can set up your own special programs for internal purposes, but but that's not what we're going to pull if we're looking for these two items only. So you can certainly flag those yourself and track them internally, but know that we're not looking at that data.
All right. Should we ask parent or guardian if students are displaced? Oftentimes parents only give necessary information and will not offer any additional without being prompted.
I would certainly look at making this part of your enrollment package or your, what do you call it?
That's right, registration.
Yeah, registration process.
Okay. And since these students have already been entered into our system, we need to go back and figure out who they are?
Yep.
Yes, Melba.
If possible. I know that's difficult, but if you can just shoot an email out to your data managers, put that on their radar. You can go back, and another question I'm sure we're going to have is, what if a student has already come and left? If you know what school they went to, if it's within the state especially, then you can contact that school and ask them to go in and update that for you.
Okay.
We're good?
Course code, yep.
Okay. So an update on course codes. These codes that are displayed right here are code changes or title changes or new creations that we thought was put in place before Doris left, and I don't think they were. I think part of the work was done, but it was not pushed down from Enterprise Controller. So we found out about that this week after a few emails have been coming in from coordinators. And so I just gained access to Enterprise Controller this morning. So until this morning, no one in the department has been able to add these. So I'm going to do that tonight or tomorrow. So just know that these courses are coming before Monday. So you'll have access to these new courses. And then a quick update. If you saw this in the bulletin, then ignore it. But Hunter is wanting this survey completed. There are some changes that are coming for next year, and we hope to get that out to you by early December so that you guys can start scheduling around January, 1st of the year. So just know that by mid-December, we're going to be finished with course code updates for the next school year, and you can start scheduling. And if you haven't already, try to complete that survey for Hunter. Okay, so I didn't have time to put a lot of notes together on this because I think we just got the email around lunchtime today from Mark. But we need you, we found a glitch in, well, it's a glitch and a mistake in the QRD for the new 10-point grade scale. So apparently there's a box that you check. Let me look at that while you're staying there. So when you set up your new 10-point grade scale, there was a box that said scale used in GPA and course credit. Yep, right there. Well, of course you have to check that, but what that does, if we can go back a slide, is it automatically checks every single box for every numerical grade from 0 to 100. Well, that's accurate in the counts in GPA, and because the screen before didn't have 2 check boxes and it was kind of 1 or none, then it leaves some work that you're going to have to go back and do, which is uncheck the boxes for the failing grades in your numerical scale under grad credit. If you do not go back and uncheck those, then what you're going to find is you're going to have students failing courses but still getting credit for it. So the failing grade will count in their GPA, but their total credits will increase even though they failed. Thank you, Mark, for finding that. I don't know if any of you have already caught that, cleaned it up yourself, but because the QRD is like this and because you had to check that box if you wanted to count it in GPA, I feel certain that everybody probably has this issue. I've asked some folks, I've asked Betsy's team to start pulling reports for us so that we can monitor the cleanup. So probably within a week or two, we're going to start emailing the districts who have not cleaned this up yet. And I apologize for that. I'm going to report this to PowerSchool because I think that may be, go to that last screenshot. I think maybe we need to look at, breaking that out into 2 check boxes.
Or at least in a range.
Yeah, or at least have it where you can enter a range.
Yep. So we had a couple of questions come in.
Okay.
What kind of changes, do you know what kind of changes are coming to the course codes for the 1920 school year? Have you got any more details on that?
I do. Hold on one second. It was very minor CTE changes. Let me see if I can find that. We were waiting to hear back from the CTE department. I think that went out in last week's newsletter. Let's circle back around to that while I'm looking for that email.
All right, Carrie, we'll have to come back to that one.
What was Friday's date? Found it.
I don't even know, the 19th.
Okay, so all it says right now, all that I've received is that there will be new CTE local course options added.
Okay. All right. So about the grade scale correction, what if we have already stored grades for quarter 1?
If you've already stored grades, well, I think this is only going to affect final grades because credits are only issued or given with the F1, correct? Now, I think when Mark found it, he had entered college grades. So for those mini semesters or mini-mesters, whatever the colleges call them, that have already ended, he was entering those grades, and that was F1 grades. So if that's the case.
Only affects F1.
Right. So if you've already entered F1 grades, then you certainly need to go back to your stored grades table and DDE, search for those. If you have DDA access, you can clean them up. If not, submit a ticket, and we'll take care of that.
Yeah. When did this new grade scale come out, and what is its title? So the new grade scale was created when you went over to Power Teacher Pro. The 10-point numeric scale.
Yep, so that should already be in place.
Yep.
There's instructions out on the NCSIS site. If you don't have that in place, you definitely need to go and create that 10-point numeric scale. Can we put the list, a link?
Scale. Okay. grade scale correction. Once we correct the grade scale itself, do we have to do anything else?
I'm trying to think.
So,
I should pass down. Mark, if you're on, maybe chime in on if you found anything after that that you had to do. Because like I said, we just found out about that when he emailed us earlier.
my questions are not sending, because we're good. Yeah, Mark, if you can comment on that, since I know you've been in your system. You said all course code changes for next year would be complete by December. Did CTE agree to that? Can we get that in writing?
That is what they sent me last week, and that came from CTE and Hunter Huffman. And they know how important it is for you all to get those early, and that's what Hunter shared with me. So it's definitely, it's something, it's their goal to have that out by early December so that I can have those entered in the enterprise controller by mid-December at the latest.
Do we make the grade scale correction at the LEA level only? Yes. Just to clarify, counts in GPA should be checked for all grades 0 to 100, but grad credit should only be checked for grades 60 through 100 and added value check for 60 to 100. Yes.
Correct.
We have, okay, let's see. Right, that is correct, Susan. We had to create that grade scale ourselves. We were unable to push that down from DPI. That is correct. Okay. November's coordinators update is scheduled for 3 p.m. on 11/8. There's also HBMU scheduled for that day. So we're going to have to choose another date, correct? Or are you going to use the home-based meetups to update them on the maintenance weekend?
Thanks for pointing that out. I think you may have already sent me an email about that, or somebody did.
It's Francine.
Yeah. So what I think I'll do is bump it back to the Wednesday this time, because I certainly don't want to not have it, and then
What
people
Wednesday?
not go, well, instead of Thursday, well, is it?
We're in
Meetups all
home-based
week.
meetups all week.
Cancel that.
I mean, unless you're going to use meetups, but then not everybody can attend meetups.
Right. So let me look at that, talk to Roz.
So Francine, we will get back to you on that. Well, to everyone.
Thanks for reminding us.
We will work on rescheduling. Certainly, I know Justin will be going over some things coming up during that meetup, so if you can make it to the meetups, that would be great. We'll be in Cresswell, Goldsboro, Summerfield, and Shelby. And I think we're going to talk about that later anyways. All right. Going through these questions, so if you'll give us just grade scale. Grade scale. In the print screen, their GPA points are all 0. Shouldn't they have the appropriate number 4, 3, 2, 1? A minute. So let me reread that. Grade scale. In the print screen, their GPA points are all 0. Right here.
Oh, I see that. So is that a correction we need to make in the QRD?
Yeah, I think when the screenshot was taken, they may have not just entered that information, but it might be in the directions. I could be wrong. Or that's right, because you have to generate a table, but you have to go back and probably enter that information. Anita, we're working on updating screenshots and that, so we will definitely look at that as well. We have a comment, can we just not accept any more CTE changes? Yes, and that's right. Okay. Speaking of stored grades, when we previously stored grades, even Q1, the GPA points and added value were auto-filled. So this time they were not. Is that going to be, is that going to work when doing F1, or is there some new problem here? He hasn't put a ticket in yet, but just noticed this today.
Go ahead and put in a ticket and send me the ticket number, if you would.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Yeah, Mark was just adding, yes, GPA for 90 through 100 should be 4 and added values should be checked. Might want to change the type in the screenshot to numeric as well, yes. We put this together really fast today, so we were just taking screenshots, whatever was in the QRDs. Mark, we will definitely run this by you before putting this out back publicly, before we make an announcement, so we may even hire you on the side to help us. Just kidding, no, we don't have money.
Or power.
Or power. And Mark did say, I think back to Stephen's point, the GPAs did autofill, FYI. Maybe that was Stephen. Yep, fixing the grade scale. Thank you, Stephen, for letting us know. Yep, that's probably an issue with the grade scale not having the GPA values there. All right, thank you for that discussion. We have some things that need to be updated. We are working on finding that and getting that updated. All right. Justin, legislative class size.
Okay, so like I said, this is a repeat from most of you. It's still going to consist of these 4 reports: class size, program enhancement teachers, class size exceptions, and the K-3 class size average. This is already out there in your production instances already. This week or this weekend, you'll see some changes. I will try to do what I did last time and send out some items that we know you need to look at, so that you know what we already know about, what we've already reported, and you can start entering your tickets on the other items. The class size exceptions, you're going to notice when you pull that report that you're going to see exceptions for enhancement courses, but the latest has the enhancement courses exempt. So even though that's going to be pulled in your report, you don't have to submit waivers for enhancement courses. And I'll cover that again in a second. Okay, class size, this is a data dump, so this is every single class section that's scheduled at your school, even if it's non-reporting. So this will show homerooms, core courses, enhancement courses, and everything. So that's just a dump file. Your enhancement teachers should only show those art and language, PE, that type of teacher. Class size exemptions, that and the K-3 class size average are for K-3 only. So if you run the report at a middle or high school and you get no results, that's because that's intentional. So that does not need to be reported. The timeline, I got this morning. So I know yesterday, for some of you that joined us for the advisory meeting, we didn't have dates to share, but The report is now open to run, of course, and the submission is set to close 11/30/2018. That will happen this weekend. So the date right now has it for like September 30th, but after maintenance, it's going to change to November 30th. So that's the last day you can submit the report, and then I've been informed that your superintendents have to submit waivers and affidavits no later than December 1st. And when we share this in the weekly bulletin, I'll also submit the latest copy of those affidavits, because that's something I got asked about a lot last time. So we'll get that out to you guys in case you're having to provide that to your superintendents. Next slide. So again, the class size report itself is a collection of every class, every grade, every school. This is available at the school level and the LEA level. So if you run this at the LEA level, you're going to get everything from every single school. I will say that when we first released this into production, we told you do not run the class size report from the LEA level because it was so slow that it crashed your system. Well, I ran that this morning in Wake QA, and it completed fairly quickly. So that has been improved quite a bit. Your enhancement teachers, again, art, dance, theater, PE, health, and world languages. So those are the only sections that should report on the enhancement report. Your exceptions for K3, this is one, I told you if you came to summer conference, we weren't sure if we were going to get the code updated in time for the first release, but legislature is saying that the exceptions should be students K3 who are sections that have more than 20 students. If you see that it's less, then it may be that the code didn't update from last year. And if that's the case, just shoot me an email and let me know. I'd hate for a ton of tickets to come in, but you'll recall last year, I think we were looking at 18 kindergartners, 16 first graders, 17 second and third. That was the cap. But that has been changed to K3 over 20. And that's all you have to submit waivers on. And then your class size average is your total number of ELA students divided by the total number of students per grade level. Your next few slides we're not going to go over, but this just kind of shows you what to expect in the years to come. So this year, 2018-19, as I just said, the average class size for K3 in a LEA shall not exceed 1 teacher per 20 students. And then next year, that's going to 19 students. The year after, it's dropping to 18 students. And then on the 2021-2022 slide, that's where we're going to end up.
Okay, we definitely have some comments coming through and some questions.
Okay.
Maybe some fact checking too. So let's go back up. If the class size pulls from the SAR, it does not, we are still having issues with that.
Yep. So these two reports are not attached at all. Last year we did pull some items from the SAR, but right now the SAR is standalone and nothing in the class size reports is pulled from the SAR.
Okay. I noticed that it says enhancement teachers are exempt this year. Do you know if we will be held to max class size for enhancement teachers in the future?
I'll have to go back and read the law, but I forget what year range. I think it's from this point forward. So unless something changes and then they come back and say there is a cap on those enhancement courses, we're going to be under the assumption that's from here forward.
Will we be able to submit these reports next week after maintenance weekend?
Yep, so the submission, so it's open right now. I think the dates are 9/17 to 11/30. So yes, you can go ahead and submit them. I don't guess there's any harm in submitting them now, unless changes have to be made if you need corrections, but then you'll just be able to unapprove, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
In reference to class size, I know EC sections are exempt. Can you tell me who and when is going to be downloading EC data from CCAS? Their data is outdated right now because
Let me pull that up right now. What district is that? Do we know?
April, remind me what district you're from. I should know this.
We've got a few districts we're having.
So April, send in your district, please. Gaston. I knew that, April.
Okay, so I've got an email from Sue Ann that came yesterday. Is today Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah, this came on Wednesday. So it says, we have not done the sync from CCAS to PowerSchool because we're trying to finish the PowerSchool to CCAS sync. There are 2 last schools left to complete. So there's 2 schools with issues that we're working on, and then that should be.
She was just saying their data is outdated.
Yeah.
Yep.
That should be done this week because we found the problem with those 2 schools.
What was that, one of them?
No, I think Sue Ann's saying we've not done anybody.
Oh, we haven't done
Right.
anybody. Okay. Did the formula for pulling class size average change to using something other than expression? If so, EC pullout sections in same expression will report separately.
That's true. That's right. And the answer is yes. So now we're looking at section ID. So if you have true pullouts, and this is something we touched on during another webinar last week, I think, the SAR webinar. If you've scheduled pullouts and they're not the AZO or AYO, AXO course codes, then they're going to report as their own individual class. And then the question came up, do we need to schedule pullouts? And I was told that it's not a requirement. You're not required to do so. So yes, that's going to bring your average down, but if it's in fact its own section and that student's being taught the entire time by a different teacher, then it kind of needs to be reported as its own section.
Okay. We had some comments about K3 over 20 is incorrect. It was more, and then it was more than 23 last year. I was under the impression that we have one more year of or at greater than 23.
The HB.
Sandy, we'll do some investigating.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get a hold of the latest.
Because we have a few questions and comments that came in for that, just so you know.
I'll get the latest bill, send it out.
Okay. On the class size report, does duties mean anything? For example, the duty listed for a 5th grade reading says pre-K reading.
No, and I think that's part of what's being brought over from the finance file.
Do charter schools need to run approved legislative class size report?
Nope.
No. All right. We have a lot of questions about, okay, slide 16 and 17. Let's go back. So we're on slide 16 now about class size report.
Oh, I see. I know what they're asking now.
Yeah.
So there's a difference in the LEA average and the school average. Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, there's some questions. Is this the LEA average or not individual section max?
So your average for the entire district can exceed 20 students. but your average, or not your average, but an individual section at an individual school can't exceed 23. Sorry about that. I skipped over.
I had several questions on that, so let us know if that answered, because they're coming in hot right now. Let's see. So hopefully that cleared it up for most of you. We use EasyIP, and it was manually uploaded in the past. When will it be uploaded this year? Justin?
Well, that goes back to my access I just got this morning, so I will
Yep.
get that done ASAP for you.
Justin's working on this. Previously, Doris did work on this, but as we know, she retired, so Justin got access, and he will be working on that. And yeah, that answers a couple of those questions. So, 18, 19, okay. So 17. Is there a max class size we need to be following for enhancement teachers, especially for middle and high school? No.
Nope. Those are now exempt.
Is there any reason why to wait until the end of the submission period to submit? No.
Not if you feel comfortable with your data as it shows.
All right, sorry you guys, it's taking me a minute. We've got a lot. Okay. Yes, can you just repeat what you said? We've had a lot of people ask about the LEA average versus individual section, please. And
All right, let's go back to slide 17.
17?
Yeah, 18-19 school year. So the average class size for all grade levels, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, for the entire district can't exceed 1 teacher per 20 students. So any of those grades, K1, 2, 3, your average for all elementary schools in the district, or all per grade level, can't be over 20.
Kindergarten through third.
Kindergarten through third. But at the school level, let's see, at the end of the second month, yep,
Individual.
the individual class, K through 3, can't. So you can't have any sections. Well, you can, but you're going to have to submit the waiver. So if you have sections, individual sections at individual schools that exceed 23 students per 1 teacher, then a waiver will need to be submitted.
Does that help, Francine? We had a few others ask, too. What if there's no data in K3 average class size by school at any of my schools?
Okay, so again, that's part of what was put out in production a month or so ago, and that part has been fixed, and that's what's coming out in this weekend's maintenance. So we know right now for a lot of you, if you're running the K3 average report, you're getting no results, but after this weekend, you should see numbers.
After this, okay.
Yep.
Can you write this note down, Justin? It might be helpful on slide 17 to say if there are greater than 23, they have to submit a waiver.
Okay.
Thank you, Francine. Is the class size report pulling only ELA classes if the average base is the average based on ELA classes?
Hang on. Okay, say that again.
Is the average based on ELA classes? Is it just reporting?
Yes. Yep. So it's only pulling your ELA sections right now.
Would a teacher's assistant being assigned to a class of 25 and it meet the guidelines?
Nope.
No.
So it's only looking at lead teacher roles.
All right, you guys. And do you know where the communication came from about the waivers? Because no one in their district had received an email about waivers.
That may not have come out yet because I just talked to Chloe this morning. So this morning's when we nailed down the timeline.
Okay.
So that's probably coming soon. Your superintendent should receive that pretty soon. And I'll get with the superintendent's office to make sure that communication goes out as well.
All right. And legislative class size apply to charters? Well, no. No, Michelle, they do not. It does not. All right. I think we've caught up. We try to put some questions together. We do need to, it sounds like, go back and add a couple more clarifications to the class size. So Justin's made notes with that.
And what we'll do is we'll take these and put together like a FAQ to put out with the instructions for those who weren't able to attend. And maybe you guys can look back over that when it comes out.
There's about the waivers. Okay. All right.
Yep, we're to the home-based meetup.
And the alpha data. All right. Home-based meetups.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so home-based meetups coming up a couple weeks. We would love to see you there. We have them listed on your screen right now. On the 5th, we are in Washington County. The 6th, we are in Wayne County in Goldsboro. That Thursday on the 7th, we did have a location change, and we will be in Summerfield in Guilford County Schools. And then that Thursday, we will be in Mark Southard's neck of the woods, Cleveland County Schools in Shelby. If you've never attended, we would love to have you there. PowerSchool will be in attendance this time around. Last time you guys were hopefully at the summer conference. So home-based meetups the invitation went out, I would say, about 2 weeks ago now. And with the invitation, it's very important too, because when you sign up, we ask what topics you would like to discuss during the meetups. This is your time to collaborate and also request topics that need further discussion, or maybe you need a short training on something. So if you have not received that invitation, please let us know. I can resend that to you, but it's also been communicated out, I think, with the home-based weekly bulletin and then a standalone communication as well. So Justin wanted to take some time, if you've thought of maybe some additional things, let's say you've already signed up to attend, if there are any items of interest or feedback, you can send in the chat or questions log. And this is for the meetups coming up, because he is working on his agenda, and we take those items that you suggest and form our agendas that way. Those do start at 10 a.m. We break for lunch for about an hour, but starting about 12, depending on our location. I know in Crestwell and in Summerfield, we may have to take a longer lunch to allow time to get to a lunch spot, and then we end around 3:30. Okay. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and send those in the chat, or you can send those in the questions. And some of you may have already filled that out in your invitation. So any questions or comments about that?
Yep, I'm particularly looking for feedback on the training part of it because
Right.
when we've talked to you all in the past, you wanted it to be less of us throwing information at you and more training time. So if you've got ideas or feedback there, just let me know because we'll be putting that together next week. And also for the charters that are on the line, we really need to get more. You're supposed to try to attend if they can, because all of this information is equally beneficial to you. And I'd love to see our charter attendants pick up at these home-based meetups.
I agree. And know that this is beyond PowerSchool too. We have also SchoolNet. SchoolNet does in the morning, the half of the morning, and then we have Canvas in the afternoon. We also have TNL. So we would love for you guys to join us. It'll be Justin, myself, Cammie, and Pam. Yep. And I do think we have a couple of vendors coming, so we would love to have you out. We've got one suggestion coming in, role security.
Ooh, I like that.
I was from Beth. So.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. And remember, you don't have to attend the one that's necessarily in your region. Whatever day works best for you. We would love to have you, especially, again, we really encourage our charters to attend as well. All right, so continue to send those ideas in to us. So, and we also send out a summary too. Justin, do you still send out a summary? You know what? Y'all had your summer conference, so we try to summarize. Those slides are going to be available for you if you can attend. I know a couple of charter people said it's hard for them to get away, but we do have the slide decks and information available. All right.
About 5 more minutes. Yep. So this last slide is just a reminder of some upcoming reports that are due, webinars that Tiff has worked to put together for you. You've got 1 or 2 more opportunities for the ALP.
Just one. We had an ALP webinar today, and then we have one more next week. And then hot off the press, we are having a PMR webinar November 13th at 3 p.m. And we apologize for having this out so late to you guys. We've had some transitions in that role as well. I think many of you know Azella transitioned into another role. And so we are having, we've got some help on the way to hold this PMR webinar. So LaShawn Creech will be presenting the webinar, and Justin and I will also be a part of that webinar. So that one's coming up as well.
If you're a new coordinator, please try to attend that PMR webinar because your month 1 and month 2 PMR is critical, as your funding is based upon those results, or those reports. So try to attend if you can. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, if you've had schools close because of the hurricanes or any other reason that you've had to close your schools, be sure to go in and update that in your calendar set up so that your PMR interval days are correct. So if you've not entered those closed school days yet, then you need to do so that you have more time in your PMR submission window.
We did get a question. I'm glad you asked, Casey, about any dates for the symposium. Well, the symposium is now called Connecting Community. No, oh gosh, did I just forget?
Symposium.
Yeah, called CCES. See, I'm so used to calling it symposium, right? Connecting Communities of Education Stakeholders. It rolls right off the tongue, you guys. Yes, I do have those dates. I'm back on that committee. So that is going to be your March 17th. So March 17th is going to be like registration on that Sunday.
St. Patty's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day, so please wear your green or Justin will come and pinch you. So it is the 17th through the 21st. So it will be like last year as far as how the setup goes. Monday the 18th, Tuesday the 19th, and the 20th on a Wednesday will be full conference. and then a half day on the 21st for post-conference. We do plan on having PowerSchool post-conference sessions on that last day as well. And we are working on the website and communication efforts for that. You will probably be hearing from me. I will need you guys to fill out some proposals. Our proposals or requests for proposals will be going out soon. And we would love to have you come present. It will be back at the Corey Center in Greensboro. And I would love to have you come present, and you will get a free registration. So, Mark, you know I'm coming for you. Emily, who else is out there? I'm coming for you. Free registration. We would love for you to share your knowledge with others. So you will be hearing from me soon. I think Justin and I are both working on sessions this year, so. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I just got the webinar date like right before this webinar, so I will be posting the PMR webinar registration link. I'll try to get that out tomorrow, so it'll be posted on the training site. But thank you. Yes, that registration link for the PMR webinar is not out there yet. We just confirmed that date, so be on the lookout. Conference dates, that's, let me type that in, March 17th through 21st, 2019. All right, I'm going back up. Is that the end of your slides?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, so I'm going to go back and review these questions. We had a few more come in. Yes, Wendy, and I will take suggestions too about PowerSchool data sessions. And probably I'm going to ask maybe Justin to, maybe we can include that coming up in the home-based meetups. What sessions would you like to see at the, can you put that in your list? What sessions would you like to see at the CCES conference? I think it would be great to get some more feedback and start early. So we'll add that to the agenda. All right, what if we still can approve our PMR 1 due to having fatals? We have 18 students without schedules because I cannot cross-enroll with another LEA. All right, and she has put a ticket in.
Shoot me an email. I'll pull that ticket up.
Okay.
What district?
Tina, what district are you with?
Pilots.
The ticket number information. All right. Can you repeat the comments made about PowerSchool and CCAS synced? What Sue-Ann shared with you?
Yep, so we've got a couple of districts that have issues, and until we resolve those, we can't do the sync for anyone. And that should be resolved. We found the problem yesterday afternoon, so that should be resolved pretty soon, within a day or two.
And Tina's with Hickory Public.
Yep, okay.
All right, I'm just going back up and trying to catch up with the questions, you guys. Emily, what do we do if we have the warning on our SAR about calendar days? For those of us affected by Hurricane Florence, example, we have 164 and our board hasn't voted on makeup days. If the state forgave 20, wouldn't many counties have this same issue?
I'll have to take that to LaShawn. I think that got brought up during our Monday internal meeting. Let me check, Emily.
Emily, Justin needs to follow up with you and LaShawn about that. LaShawn Creech. And we had more people said that, you know, they've not approved makeup dates. So errors showing.
I know, so in my discussion about the PMR this morning, I know they were not expecting PMR 1 or 2 to be submitted for those districts, so they're willing to go back and work with us. I just don't have any kind of extension or more information yet.
Okay. We had some more suggestions come in, so I'm reading those. All right.
I know we ask this during almost every single call and webinar and training, but if you have not updated your EOI contacts page this year, make sure that that is up to date. New coordinators, if you can, I forget the navigation to get there. Let's see. But from the LEA page, under LEA setup, there is a EOI contacts page that you use to enter your information and a secondary contact, name and number. We've been utilizing that a whole lot lately as our spreadsheet continues to get more and more outdated. So I think that's going to be, until we can, we're talking about maybe putting a new field in EDI for PowerSchool coordinators so that that can be updated every year, and then we'll have that information. But for now, we're utilizing that EOI contacts page.
What if our schools aren't back by the 10/27 date to approve the RPG?
We'll get an extension.
All right. See if you can. Yes, Laura. The meetup date is on the 8th. We will reschedule that coordinator webinar. We'll have to get back with you on that one. Read to achieve. Aaron, we may need to do some digging with that one. Read to achieve, have the retention reading tags on students been archived so that we can remove them if they have now met the qualifications. I'm not sure of that, Aaron. Who works with that program?
Aaron, I would put in a ticket on that if you haven't already, and if you have, drop the ticket number there for us.
All right. I think we've answered most of them. I know that it's past 4 now, and we do want to be cognizant of your time. I
think I'm blind.
Is there a date? Is there a date? Do you know if there's a date to get opt-outs for military recruitment? Have you heard anything about that? Justin's shaking his head no. Will there be a webinar for CRDC?
Yes.
Yes.
I know
Tara Dominguez is the one that leads that webinar, Christian. Have you heard of a date yet, Justin? There's not a date right now, but Tara Dominguez will be leading that, and that will be sent out. I think she does a standalone email and sends that out to everybody. Looks like some people had a question about Read to Achieve, and they got to check it in. All right, you guys. Well, it is, almost 10 past. Thank you so much for your attention today. Remember the bit.ly, I did put the bit.ly to these slides into your chat. I do know there's some that need that Justin will be following up with. And if you have any questions about like trainings or webinars, you can reach out to me and home-based meetups. I'm the home-based meetup contact as well, and also for the CCES conference. So if you have any questions about that, I can help with that as well. Justin, do you have anything else to add?
I do not. Thank you all for attending. I hope this is helpful. I know we were supposed to have one last month, but we couldn't because of the hurricane, so this is our first one, and we'll do all we can to get the people at the table for the ones in the future to help answer questions related to what's going on that time of year. So thank you all for your attendance. We had a great crowd today.
Yes, we had, a really great crowd. We appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.